Good morning. It is 10:18 a.m. on Sunday, April 11th, 2021. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I'm in kind of a weird headspace right now. I stayed up late and then Rocket, woke me up early to go outside, which, okay, fair. When I say early, it's like, sun's up outside. He's hungry. Yeah, I get it. But then went back to bed, and then he kind of kept sort of waking me up like he was wanting me to do something. And I'd taken him outside, I'd given him breakfast. I'm not sure what he specifically wanted, but yeah, I'm still. So I ended up getting, like, in total, I think, a reasonable amount of sleep, but definitely just feeling a little bit off. I definitely all this last week I've just felt a little bit foggy. I think it's maybe tied to my migraine incident, but just feeling a little bit like I have 25% less ability to pay attention to anything. Yeah, I think that's kind of at least one of the effects of this slight foggy feeling. I don't know. I'm not like worried about it as much as like, I would like that to not happen anymore, or go away, feel normal. But we'll see how it goes. So I was up late because we had another good session of Dungeons and Dragons, which is not by itself enough reason to stay up late just because we finished that by 10:30, but just because frequently when I've had a good session like that, it just kind of leaves me sort of not sleepy at what would be bedtime, and so I was playing more video games and ended up staying late. And Rocket, what are you doing? Don't chew on that. Yeah, he's a little bit restless this morning. He's trying to chew on the blanket that's sitting on the couch. But what are you gonna do? So I'm kind of just trying to, yeah. So like ordinary stuff. Nothing unusual about any of that. I think that. Oh, okay. I remember. See, part of what I was experiencing just there for a moment was that I had decided partly what I was going to talk about, and then I kind of had forgotten it and was trying to say like, what was it? And I was rambling until I got it, and so now I have, and now I've explained all that to you, and now I will talk about the thing I was going to talk about, which was that Mike and I together decided that we're not doing our normal Oscar movie marathon for this year, just because it's weird. And so, like, I was finding myself that I was, like, even though several of the movies, when I made myself watch them, like Nomadland or Minari, like, I enjoyed the movie. It wasn't that I didn't like it, but I was just not feeling the energy for the marathon this year, and I was kind of noticing on the spreadsheet that we used to track it that Mike hadn't really managed to see very many of them either. And we were getting all ready to record our first session for it, but then it was just, we were just feeling like, are we in it this year? Is this what we want? And Mike, I think, had the excellent observation that a big part of what makes the marathon fun most years is that it encourages us to go back out to the theater if we maybe haven't been to the movie theater recently. Because the theater experience is fun, and that's part of the whole energy of the thing, is going out and doing things, even if it's just seeing a movie. And maybe because it's a smaller movie, you have to go to a theater you haven't been to before, and you discover that, and it's kind of neat. But this year, it's like everything's online. We're not doing the theater thing. Still missing the theater thing, and yeah, and just it didn't feel the same. So we are gonna keep watching 100 movies. We're gonna go back to what we've been doing recently, which is having kind of themes. And so what we've actually decided to do for our next episode, which we're gonna record probably next week, is we're going to talk a little bit about the idea of guilty pleasures. And I personally have feelings about that phrase because I think it's kind of silly, the idea that if a movie gives you joy, why should you feel guilty about it? But, guilty pleasures is often used to indicate like a movie that you know isn't good, but you like it anyway. But then it's again a case of like, well, but if you like it, then what is bad about it, right? But we'll talk about that. And so we both chose movies that we are just think are just unambiguously kind of fun, and we enjoy them all in a way that feels almost independent of their actual qualities. And so we're going to watch those, but use that as a springboard to talk about the subject. And I want to give credit to Brian Weber on Twitter, who gave me the idea for that episode. And so the two movies we're going to watch are Deep Blue Sea and Xanadu. And it was fun because immediately when we started talking about watching those movies, instead of trying to seek out the Oscar movies, it's like, it stopped feeling like a chore, which is good. I think sometimes it's important to, like, it's one thing for something to, to put in a little effort to overcome laziness or an inertia to do something you do care about. But I think when you've been doing something long enough that it's just routine and it stops being fun and starts feeling like a chore, I think it's important to occasionally check in on yourself for those things and not just keep doing them just for the hell of it. Yeah. Anyway, I will leave it there for today, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.